So the game ends Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2, and I have to say that game was giving off a little bit of prime Barclays vibes. It had the physicality, it had the Arsenal thought they won it for a great goal, but Dan Ballard is just there with the blocks right at the end. Sunderland obviously get a goal late to make it 2-2. Arsenal think they can win it, but this Dan Ballard is there with the blocks. And I have to say, good game to watch, prime Barclays game. And I think, considering Sunderland are third in the league, they were a very good side. Arsenal came to Sunderland. They went 1-0 down. Arsenal did not have five attackers: Madueke, Martinelli, Jesus, Gyökeres, Havertz. You can also include Odegaard in there. Arsenal did not have any of those players. They go 1-0 down, they make it 2-1, and then it ends 2-2. And I guess Arsenal fans are disappointed because it ends 2-2. But I think Arsenal fans are very wrong about this game because you're still top of the league. Of course, this makes the Liverpool City game that little bit bigger now, but you're still top of the league. If Liverpool and City draw, you're still going to be top of the league by 6 points. You've dropped points to a third place Sunderland side, and you drew that game when you were 1-0 behind for when you went 1-0 behind. If you'd have dropped points to Burnley, I'd have got it. I'd have got Arsenal fans being really down and annoyed about it. Was it Arsenal's best performance? No. But you went 1-0 down for a free kick that probably wasn't a free kick, if we're being totally honest. You almost scored late, but Dan Ballard made some great blocks. Of course, Ryan made some good saves his end. But I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans be really negative. I'm already seeing, and I don't know if this is rivals saying it's to wind up Arsenal, bottlers tags of Arsenal. It's like 2-2 away at home to Sunderland, who are third in the league, after you went 1-0 down, with 5 key players out, with 6 attacking players out, and you make it 2-2, I don't understand how this has been seen as bad. Like, Arsenal finally conceded a goal, finally. But I don't see this as a bad result for Arsenal. Look, like, Arsenal lost one game a season to Liverpool, and that was through a masterful Szoboszlai free kick. The only time you've lost is for a masterful free kick. And I think Sunderland have given you the hardest game of the season since Man United, which was the first game which you won 1-0. I think Sunderland I think that was a bit of a test, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Man United fan. Obviously, you lost to Liverpool, but I think Sunderland has been your hardest game this season. Like, Newcastle, they went 1-0 up. It was a difficult game considering the circumstances. You don't have a good record at Newcastle. You went 1-0 behind. You got back in it, you won it. But I think Sunderland's giving you the hardest game because they gave you a very difficult first half. I think Sunderland are one of the few teams in the Premier League that can match you physically. Dan Ballard, incredibly physical, goal, assist, great block today. He was phenomenal. Sunderland gave you a difficult game. I thought in the second half, Arsenal started quite well. You made it 1-1. I thought you were going to make it 2-1. When you made it 2-1, I went, this is Arsenal. They're inevitable. After you made it 2-1, he took Eze off. He brought Mascara. Maybe that was the wrong call from Arteta because I felt that you were lacking someone out wide to get the ball and deal with it. And maybe you invited on a bit more pressure. And Raya had a little bit to do. But Sunderland have given you your hardest game in a while, and you still didn't lose. Like, you conceded 2 goals. First time all season you've conceded 2 goals in a game. You conceded shots. This was a significantly more difficult game for you guys. But Sunderland have been so hard to beat. Not many people have beaten Sunderland this year. Like, Man United, my team, is the only team who's actually had an alright game versus Sunderland. Chelsea just lost 2-1 to Sunderland a couple of weeks ago. Like, this Sunderland side is good. And I'm seeing Arsenal fans be upset and be really angry about this. And I'm saying, I get being disappointed, but I do think there's a bit of an overriding negativity from Arsenal fans I've seen online. Now, some of it is rivals going like bottle jobs. But I've seen some Arsenal fans be like, we won't win the league if we drop points like this online. You're going to drop points. You're in a position where you can drop points to third place Sunderland away from home because you've won all your other games and your position's been dropping points. You're not dropping points to Burnley and West Ham and regularly. This is the first time you've dropped points in 10 games to a third place team away from home. You will drop points, and these are the games that you might drop points in. Was it Arsenal's best performance? No. Was Calafiore being dragged out of position? Yes. Was the other players not having the best game? Yes. Could Gabriel have done better for the goal? Yes. But other than that, I think he had a good game. So I get why Arsenal fans are disappointed. I get that 100%. Conceding late, it's going to hurt, especially when you think you've won it. But you didn't lose. You drew 2-2 away to a team that's third in the league, and I've said that 50 times. Your XG was 2.26 XG to their 0.53. You had the better opportunities. Maybe on another day, you win that game 3-2. This isn't like Arsenal have collapsed. That's it. They've been found out. They're going to drop points in all their other games and the title race is over. This is Sunderland were brave, physical, gave Arsenal the most difficult game of the season. You can't win all your games. You deserve credit. When you won the league as Invincibles, you had 12 draws. I don't get these some Arsenal fans I've seen that are really upset about a draw. You're not going to win every week. You have no Gyökeres, no Havertz, no Odegaard, no Martinelli, no Madueke. There's no attacking subs, which is maybe my mascara comes on because it's not a game for Dalman, it's not a game for Wanyeri. People forget how young they are. And you draw. And I just don't think it's the be-all and end-all. All I think it really does is make this City-Liverpool game a bit bigger, because if Liverpool win, they go 5 points behind Arsenal, and then they have a game against Arsenal, and, ultimately, that's all it really does for me. But yeah, let's continue on into your notes, because I want to talk about Rice and Zubimendi. I thought Declan Rice and Zubimendi were excellent. I thought Saka had a better game. I thought Trossard was good. But look, Arsenal top of the league. This result just makes City-Liverpool bigger. There was no Gyökeres, no Odegaard, no Havertz, no Martinelli, no Madueke, no Jesus. Arsenal missing most of the front line. Did Eze have his best game? No. Was Eze involved much? No. Could Arteta have moved Eze around to involve it more? Was Gyökeres missed? Yeah, Marino did nothing in that first half. Maybe Arsenal needed the presence of Gyökeres to run the channels. And I think today's game, and when Gyökeres came off in your last game, we're actually seeing the importance that Gyökeres has to the team, even if you don't always see that on the pitch with his movement, his focal point. But Arsenal this last season, with all those injuries, would have lost. Arsenal today drew. Arsenal almost won the game and found a way back into it after going 1-0 down. Arsenal last season, when they went 1-0 down, the game would have ended 1-0. You went 2-1 up, but then it was 2-2. But this isn't bottling. For me, I think it's fatigue and fine margins. Declan Rice was so exhausted by the end of the game. Zubimendi was exhausted. Declan Rice and Zubimendi were both excellent, but you could see they were exhausted. Rice was a monster. He was pressing, he was covering ground, he was forcing the mistake that led to a Saka equaliser. Declan Rice was a monster, and he was chasing everything. The guy is not normal. The guy is not human. And I could see Declan Rice win the ball back, sprint with the ball, and then he gets right back into position, and he looks knackered. Zubimendi I thought was fantastic. His positioning, his interceptions were fantastic. His ability to set the tempo on the ball was fantastic. Look, for me, I don't think Sunderland should have had a free kick. I thought he made a good tackle. I thought Arsenal were done dirty by the ref, and I'm saying that as a Man United fan. But those two in midfield were incredible for Arsenal. Those two in midfield are incredible players, and Arsenal do really have some incredible players. And I think Arsenal have an incredible team with incredible depth. The attacking depth isn't there because they've had so many injuries in attack. I still think Arsenal are going to win the league despite dropping points. I feel there's a lot of negativity. Saka, a lot of people saying he's rubbish, a lot of people saying he's average, but he scored when Arsenal needed him most. Yes, it's his first open play goal since April, but he's had injuries and he's had good games without getting goal and assist. We know how good Saka is. He's consistent, and Saka's popping up on the left, he's popping up in the middle, he's popping up on the right. There was an unpredictable element about Saka's game tonight, which I thought was really good. Trossard was brilliant. Trossard was phenomenal today, not just because he scored, but the scanning, the way he can thread passes, the way he can link, the way he's picking up the ball in dangerous areas and looking at what's around him. I've always said this, Trossard is the perfect squad player because he's not going to demand to play every minute of every game, but when he's called upon, he's ready, he's effective, he's productive, he knows when to score. Trossard reminds me a bit of Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota was the perfect squad player for Liverpool. He didn't start every game, but when he came off the bench, you knew he was going to produce something. And when he did play, you knew he was going to produce something. He has a good finish in him. And Trossard's always reminded me of him because even if Trossard doesn't start every game, he's not going to demand to start every game. He's got that finish in him. He's got this in his locker. He can come off the bench and influence a game. He can start a game and influence it. I thought Trossard was fantastic. I thought he was scanning. I thought his awareness was good. I thought Trossard was fantastic. And look, I think Arsenal, this was their worst defensive performance, but I thought that Gabriel and Saliba were really dominant, but switched off right at the end when they needed to be on it. Maybe Calafiori, potentially I think going forward was good, but defensively got caught out. Raya had to make saves. This is Arsenal conceding shots on target. This is Arsenal conceding 2 goals for the first time all season. Arsenal have a fantastic defence. Rather than criticising the defence, let's give praise to Sunderland for doing that. In my opinion, there's a lot of negativity now from rivals to Arsenal fans on themselves. Just give Sunderland the credit. This was a prime Barclays game. Sunderland got a draw. You didn't lose. Honestly, give them the credit. I think this is just a bumps. I don't think this is a start of an Arsenal collapse, unfortunately. I just think it's a bump. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below, Arsenal fans, because I know it's not all Arsenal fans. I've just seen some Arsenal fans be quite negative, and I'm intrigued to know your thoughts on the game down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.